So I just want to encourage our viewers who are watching this live to know that this is your chance to ask Jillian any questions that you have about her business, because we're going to get into the questions that we ask every guest about putting the consumer first. But I just want to remind our audience that if you have any questions and you're in her marketplace and you want to say hi, feel free. We will read all comments that we have to her so that she can see the love as well. So let's get into
all right. Well, because I'm
Sibbach.
anxious to hear some more details. So what we say is that putting the consumer in first, like we like to put it in more specific detail, meaning when you're representing a seller, we see that sellers want it three ways, right? So they either want, meaning different, everybody has a different need, but there's basically three categories of how do you help sellers specifically either get more money, either to sell their house faster or do it for less hassle. In particularly when you're representing sellers, what are some of the aspects that you do in achieving any of those three?
So I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I feel like we do all three. So again, back to the team, we can do it faster. Because if there's one of me, I only have 24 hours a day. And again, at some point I have to sleep. When there are 10 of me, now we have 240 hours in a day. And we
I
all
don't think there's 10 of you. But you, so there's you and then there's 9 others.
You're right. But so therefore, it's all about leverage. So I have people on my team that their sole job is just to market that home every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday. They're touching that home 3 times a week. Where the average
is your marketing that tells what's that? Oh, sorry.
There's a delay here. There's a delay. Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Glitches.
So when they're marketing that home 3 times a week, where I feel like the average realtor, when they take a listing, they market it once, they put it on the MLS, they do their marketing, and then a lot of times they just leave it and hope it sells. Maybe they remarket it again every month. We're doing it 3 times a week. So that's the faster piece. That's the more efficient piece. I also believe that's where you're also going to get more money, because there's all of us leveraging the property, doing open houses, telling our sphere about it, telling our clients about it, telling our database, pushing the property on our social media pages, advertising it and getting it going. That's where you're going to get more money. We're getting you more eyeballs, more viewership of your property by doing it through the team. So there's your more efficient, your time, your money. And then on top of that, again, because there are 10 of us to work on your property, anything that needs to be done, we will handle anything. And when I mean anything.
Okay, so what's the craziest thing you did for a seller to help them get more money that they needed to get done?
So we had a horse property, and horse properties aren't too common.
Oh, I thought you were just going to start with we had a horse. I was ready for that to be the craziest thing. I was like, yes, this has Las Vegas written all over it.
But we
okay, horse property, that's different.
Yep, a horse property, which isn't too common in Las Vegas. But essentially, we actually held a horse show on the property to get horse enthusiasts at the property to see it, to be able to want to buy it. Most realtors wouldn't think outside of the box. I don't own a horse. I don't know much about horses, but you know what I did? I spent 3 weeks researching horses, horse property, and horse shows to figure out who was my audience. Let me attack that audience. We brought people in from out of state for this horse show to sell this $1 million property, and it sold.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which is what I think outside of the box. You know, it's something totally different other than chaining myself, my pregnant body to a property. Whatever it takes. It's whatever it takes. I mean, literally, whatever we need to do.
Okay, so that was a great story about, all right, so do you think then doing the horse show sold it faster in that case? I mean, that's a tough property to sell, in my opinion. I mean, I know that, although I have to say, I've been to the Wrangler finals in Vegas. So to me, I think that there'd be a lot of horse properties because of the national finals there. Is there not a lot of them?
Surprisingly, the average horse property, because it has a lot of land, and land is what is expensive in Las Vegas, the average horse property in Las Vegas is going to be $1 million plus, right? And so that's a lot of money for Las Vegas, and horses aren't as common. And a lot of times when you have a horse buyer, they live in their property for years upon years upon years upon years. It's not as much of a turnover. So the audience is smaller, there's less turnover, and it's expensive, right? So not only did it sell that house faster, it gave us the highest sales price in that community, in that zip code, the entire zip code, in an entire year. We got the highest sales price per square foot. And it found a buyer that came from Minnesota that wasn't even looking for a property in Las Vegas. They weren't even in the market to buy. They weren't even interested in buying a home. We created the buyer.
Wow.
Nice.
That's a great story.
Yes, I like that.
All right. So what is, you want to ask a question?
I do. I'm actually, I like the wild side, but I also like the mild side.
Best.
Right. So like, do you have the tactics where you help sellers get more money that are more repeatable for our audience, that they hear it and they're like, gosh, Jillian, that's great. I'm going to go do that too.
Right, because I don't know that every city has horse property that people are selling.
Or
like
that
meaning
every
that,
agent can
or
put
like
up a show.
95% of their sales, like you said, most of your sales, we want to hear about the bulk of the business versus the great story. Loved it. Love top dollar. That's awesome.
Usually we go
Tell us
mild to
more.
wild.
Yeah.
This time we're going to go wild to mild.
Okay.
So just basically down to the basics, we love mega open houses.
Mega.
And a mega open house for us is.
Are you at like a Josh Smith mega open house girl?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Good. Then you're not. All right, cool. I just wondered where you get the mega open house from.
So I'll give you an example.
Like sometimes like
mega open houses for us. A mega open house for us is all of our open house signs are about 4 feet tall. So they're not the standard. What even are the standard signs? 2 feet tall. Ours are 4 feet tall. Ours are wider, triple the size of a regular open house sign. We will put out about 25 of those for every open house. We will advertise the open house, of course, on all the real estate websites, Zillow, Trulia, Facebook, all that stuff. We will create ads for buyers. We'll do circle prospecting for all of the potential buyers that are within that zip code, within a 1 or 2 mile radius. We will contact all the people renting in that 1 or 2 mile radius. We will advertise all of the neighbors. And then just, go mega open house with balloons, with sign twisters. And so mega open houses for us have been great. It's been able to create a lot of buyers. It's also been able to create a lot of business for our team. So I feel like that's very duplicatable. Anybody can do a mega open house. It's real simple. And we do at least one of those a week. That is our team's minimum.
So does that sell the house faster, more money? Have you noticed? Have you any tracking of any statistics on that?
I do, actually. Yeah. So on the houses that we have done the mega open houses with, generally they are going to sell about 10% of the time faster than if we didn't do a mega open house. And usually we're getting like 55% more on the sales price because we're bringing in a lot of buyers. A mega open house for us should have about 30 buyers through the door that day.
Okay. Awesome.
Good one.
No,
nice.
That's excellent. So one of the things that we started,
even though that was mild, I don't think that was mild.
No, it wasn't mild. No, it was outstanding. It was great marketing. But so one of the things that we've been doing in trying to help the homeowner and representing the seller get more money is we've helped them improve what I call it agent making the house sexier.
Yes.
So like Property Brothers, Fixed Up Houses, like we've helped people. Have you ever done anything like that? Like meaning that, because like sometimes the house, when it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath on a simple street at $250, that hasn't seen any updates. If you throw in some stainless steel appliances or you paint the house, I mean, do you offer any kind of staging? Is there anything in that along that line?
Yes. So I have a secret weapon for that. So I don't know if this is going to be very fair, but my husband.
Continue.
So my husband's a licensed realtor, and he's also my husband, so he wants to keep me happy. And my husband he has been a general contractor for years and years, and he could do anything. He could put some wood, he could build you a house. He could do electrical, plumbing, painting, anything. So when I walk through a house and I tell my clients, this needs to be painted, this needs to be done, he does all my labor for me for free. So they just buy the product and he will handle it.
Yeah.
Well done. Yes.
So
that's repeatable.
What percent of the houses? What percentage of the houses do you think you apply that theory to?
Oh God, 30% of the time, at least 30% minimum, because there's only something that needs to be done. I mean, even from I'll give you to the bare bones basic. We had a property that had a septic tank, which again isn't very common in Las Vegas. And in order to do a septic tank, when you sell a house, you need to do a septic tank inspection, right? So there's one company in town that will inspect the septic tank. But
there's only one?
There's only one in Las Vegas. They charge you $500 just to dig up the lid. So you have to have the lid exposed, or they charge you $500 just to dig it up. The lid is usually about 4 feet down, and it's usually about a 4 foot by 4 foot radius.